to the Dark Crimson Podcast.
Hey, to the grass.
We leave it out here. We leave it out here. I know, because when I look at you, I was like, oh, you changing it up. Like, and you were like, you got to do that.
Like I said, I was not playing. I'm like, damn.
You were like, you got to do that. You have one job. Just repeat what I say. All right, let's start over. Welcome to the Dark Crimson Podcast. You say,
welcome to the Dark Crimson Podcast.
I said, welcome to the Dark Crimson Podcast. You say,
welcome to the black crack.
You say, welcome to the Dark Crimson Podcast. You say,
welcome to the Dark Crimson Podcast.
I say, welcome to the Dark Crimson Podcast. You say,
welcome to the Dark Crimson Podcast.
it is the podcast.
The podcast.
It is the podcast.
It is the podcast.
It is the podcast.
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 The podcast.
It is the welcome to the Dark Crimson Podcast. Your ass trying to show me up.
Yeah.
Dude, I had to go jump the podcast. Shit, I almost fucked up.
Exactly.
I almost said, welcome to the Dark Crimson Podcast.
But what's up, y'all? It's your boys,
Dark
Crimson
DC. And we are coming to you live for technically I would count that video. So welcome to the first point one. That's what we're going to call it. The first point one podcast where we finally got a camera. So, are we clear for y'all?
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about today is going to be our review on the Morbius movie that just came out. What was it? April 14th?
Yeah.
So a lot of people now have already done their reviews on it. So I guess say for us, we're kind of considerably later than it though. But people still talking about it. It's still a thing going on right now. So it's like hopefully we're not super late about it though.
And for the first time, we are on the opposite sides because he calls it Morbius. I call it more BS from something. Okay. So, hold on. You know what? Let's switch it up a bit.
Wait a minute.
Get over here. Okay.
Like I said, it's something he coming up with, so I'm confused still.
We got our first camera, so we gotta. Excuse me. You been smoking over here or some shit?
What else you?
You see all this smoke over here, dust. But nah, we for the first time we decided to switch it up a bit.
Quite literally.
See how the other half feels. How does it feel being in the seat? It's too new. I'm gonna come back and.
No, I would say it just feels like light.
Like, yeah, I don't see how you do this. But anyways, the movie Morbius wasn't it for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, the acting was there. It was just a story to me. I didn't really like the story all that much. I feel like it could have been a little bit longer, a little bit more fleshed out. The best part was, spoiler alert, Michael Keaton's part. And even that part didn't make sense because at the end of Spider-Man, it seemed like he was turning good for a minute. So I'm like, why?
Wait, come on with who?
What's that bird?
Okay, so again, him plus other people thought that the person that had the flying Tecker so that showed up at the end of the thing, they thought that was Falcon turning into a bad guy or some shit. But technically that was Vulture. And they thought that he was going from bad guy to good guy. And I done explained to him, especially, that was not the case to it. Just because he did Spider-Man a solid and not revealing his secret or whatever when he knew, doesn't mean that he's a good guy now. That just means that he just did him a fucking solid, never going on. That's the same thing with how Joker works with Batman and the rest of them or whatever, just because he's doing something on the side of good or something like that does not mean he gonna go back and turn to a good guy and shit. No, he gonna still fuck some shit
The
up.
Joker's doing it for his own personal gain.
I get that. And so for him, he had a good guy moment, but that don't mean he might not use that shit later on. It's kind of like for example, say if Luthor found out who Superman really was, but instead of him bringing it out to the public or whatever, he looking like, you know what, I'm gonna do him a solid, not reveal a secret, but I'm gonna keep that shit in my back pocket just in case I might need that bitch.
But see, the thing is, will it matter now, especially now that he's like not,
Well, no,
in the same universe as him anymore?
Well, no, Vulture is still in the same universe as Spider-Man, but
not Tom Holland though.
No, that is where Vulture is from.
Yeah, but he's not there now.
How is he not there now?
If you watch the end credits, he escaped. He blipped from his, well, not blipped, but he evaporated from his cell into another jail.
Okay.
And because he's not from that universe, they released him.
But again, though, with the whole situation that happened with No Way Home, he would have blipped back to his original.
That's not how they did it. I know it's stupid. It's stupid. It's ignorant. It's tacky.
So you saying that during the whole events that happened prior to the,
like, you know how, and see, this is why I don't understand it. And if they wanted Vulture in their universe, they could have just had a version of Vulture in their universe. That would have made more sense, because even Venom got flipped back to his original thing.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying
So,
they left a piece of him so that they can get their own individual one.
Exactly, but that makes sense. But in the Morbius movie, he got flipped from his universe to Morbius' universe, and he stayed there.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, that is really weird though.
Yeah.
But that still does not label him as a good guy though, just because he flipped from a different.
And why would Morbius turn to a bad guy at the end of the movie?
But he didn't technically turn into a bad guy. Like, he just met up with Vulture and such and said, hey, looks like me and you need to work together on, because God didn't stay together type shit. And that's the fuck it. But Morbius is an anti-hero. He doesn't align with good, he doesn't align with bad either. It's based off what you saw in the movie. So, I'm not labeling Morbius as a bad guy. I'm just saying that he's just a guy that really has hardly anywhere to go, because if you saw the events of the movie, people label him a bad guy because of who he turned into, but that's not the case though. Yeah. Not really. And also too, as you see, he didn't commit all these murders. It was his friend that did it. So it's like they just label him as a bad guy just because he's dangerous in general. That's like the situation with the Hulk. Like, he didn't kill anybody, but everybody's announced him being dangerous because of the power he wields.
Yeah, but at the same time, man, that still doesn't excuse that Morbius was a bad movie.
It was not a bad movie.
What made the movie good in your opinion?
The movie was good because, one, it had a goal in mind to what he was doing. Like, both him and his friend, because everybody else in general literally had some kind of illness that he wanted to cure, so that everybody can have a normal life. That really was the point to what he was doing. And of course, it led down to some Lizard Man shit, because he was doing pretty much the exact same thing that he was doing. And yeah, he successfully got rid of his illness, but he gained something else in return that had more of a backlash than what he was hoping for. Then his friend said he wanted the same exact shit, but he used it from he basically allowed the thirst and everything else to betray his actions and all this other shit, and then he had to fight him, of course, take him down, and basically be the hero, but still had to be the anti-hero the next because of who he was. And that's all it was. Now, I get where you're saying that they should have added a little bit more into his character, at least from the beginning. I'll give you that. The backstory part was a little bit short. They could have added a little bit more into that. I will do that. But I'm not labeling the story itself to make it as it's a bad movie. Because one, we do not know, because Morbius is not a mainstream was sitting here had your hopes way too freaking high because he thought because he was related to Spider-Man that he was gonna have some kind of a big ass part so that it had some kind of involvement with Spider-Man.
Well, we just figured he would have a big ass part, but we thought he would be in there.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the same thing like how we was thinking when it came out of them. We thought that when Venom showed up, we thought Spider-Man was gonna show the hell up in some form of fashion or whatnot to the movie. But then it wasn't until like later on we found out that yeah, he's part of the Spider-Man universe, but not in that particular way, like that. And but it still was a good movie to where even though Spider-Man wasn't particularly involved in it, y'all still liked the movie. So that's what I'm saying. I felt like y'all just had the expectations up too high and expected certain things to happen, and that's probably why y'all was thinking, oh, it's a bad movie. Should it have more? Should it have more backstory into it? Yes. Should it like dive bomb a little bit more into the depth of Morbius itself? A little bit.
But that's why the movie wasn't good to me. It didn't have a backstory. It didn't have.
Well, to them, I feel like they had enough to where it's like you knew why he went towards his path to doing this. Because to me, it's like, what more can you really go into? You know, he has an illness. He wants to save not just himself but his friends and anybody else that deal with his injury and all stuff. He's super smart to get to where he can and make it possible. I mean, kind of like what else do you need to look into more than just because the only thing they can really add in is basically just throwing in some extra scenes of him working hard into completing his education and all this other shit. And that's about it. It literally just been like an extra 30-second scene of him bullshitting. They get to the point where we got to the rest of the movie or so just to say, oh, we gave him a little something.
I mean, just don't rush it like they did. But
I mean, how was the rush?
I mean, I felt like you said the character wasn't well known, so they should have taken their time and fleshing them out. I feel like there were certain scenes that needed to be in there that wasn't, and the scenes that were in there didn't need to be in there. Like there were several scenes that you could have replaced with better scenes. You know what I mean?
Like what?
Like the scene right after he gets out of the cave. You know, we didn't need that.
Wait, you talking about when he went to the cave in the beginning of the movie or so, and then he got all the bats and stuff coming to him or whatever?
Yeah.
That was part of his research.
No, but I mean, I get that, but after that scene.
After that scene, they just went to the lab or so, and he was doing research and shit.
Yeah. That could have been like another scene, or him talking with his girl or friend or something like that. You know,
I mean, they did have
that. Having side effects and stuff.
Well, no, I'm saying like
more into these side effects.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Though they did kind of explain a little bit in terms of that. It wasn't like that long-winded, but they did. He went, he talked to his friend about what was going on. He talked to that a little bit. He talked to his girl or whatever. Like they had moments where he was talking to them, but in terms of the side effects or whatever, they kind of explained it in the movie or so. That's like, you know, oh, he gets superhuman strength, abilities, and all this other shit. Could he control the hunger? So no, he couldn't. Either he feeds or he fucking dies. Like it pretty much explained it. Well, it's pretty much how it was. It's not like it was more to study like on some Hulk shit. Like Hulk shit, you never knew exactly what his thing was. You just knew that he gets mad, he gets stronger.
Yeah.
You don't know like is the nigga bulletproof? Say he isn't bulletproof or whatever, could he heal really fast? Like there was some shit about him that you just didn't know about when it comes to Hulk. So if they want to flush shit out wherever it came to him, they did fine. But when it comes down to somebody like Morbius, where he literally just took a fucking serum that turns into a fucking vampire, but not in the religious sense, but like in the sense of a vampire back, there's not much to really like flush into it, really. There's not really much to dive into it. It's more like feed or die.
Yeah.
that's all there is to it when it comes down to the side effects. And then too, they showed it in the movie that he got the whole echolocation thing. Like they did flesh out his abilities and all stuff in it. So that's why I felt like it wasn't really much to go into. Like what you wanted a scene where he used to show exactly how strong the nigga can be.
What would you rate the movie?
I would rate the movie at least say like either 6.5 or 7 out of 10.
I agree.
Like that's what I was I'm saying because like
I
it
give it
was.
a 6.5.
Yeah, because like it wasn't a.
For everybody that didn't like it, half of the people did, and I feel like it's even though it's a bad movie to me, I feel like it's not so much that the movie sucked because it didn't suck. I feel like it's not so much that the movie sucked, but I feel like it's more so like some of number one, like you said, some of the fans were expecting Spider-Man and didn't get a cameo, and then another percent of the fans, it just wasn't appealing to them. Like it appealed to more the comic book fans. I want.
But that's what I'm saying. But and that's
and I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because it was a comic book movie. It wasn't like a regular Marvel movie.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying too. Though. But it's the same thing like how it was with people who read the book and then people who don't read the book and just watch the movies. They'll have mixed opinions in terms of it, where they say, "Oh, the movie was fantastic." Then you got people who read the book and be like, "They didn't portray everything that was going on in the movie," and they bitch about that type shit. And I'm like, Morbius, I haven't even seen the freaking comic book about it, but I still say it was a good movie. Then you got people who, and I bet you the people who criticized the movie or so the critics, so they probably were Marvel. They're probably like, I'm hoping they were Marvel fans themselves to criticize that movie. I'm looking like,
oh yeah, we were.
Because I'm just looking like, I said, why the fuck did y'all sit here argue about it? Because they made Morbius the second largest, like, the movie itself gotten the most unwanted record for, like, the money flop that it got from the thing. Because when it first came out or so, like the first week or something like that, it had a good, like, it was like a pretty good average amount of money.
You have to think COVID.
Well, that too.
So but, it's kind of hard.
I mean, yes and no, because we got to the point now where people do worry about COVID. But
No. It's funny because some things, despite COVID, people show the fuck out for.
Yeah.
Like the Suicide Squad, COVID said fuck you. But there was one movie, I think it was Batman.
No, it was
where people were like, we ain't letting COVID stop this.
Well, no, it was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man? Yeah. Spider-Man was like, we ain't letting COVID stop this.
Yeah, it was Spider-Man that was like, nah, fuck y'all, we seen this movie.
If I have to die to see this movie, this is gonna be my last movie.
Yeah, because I remember we talked about it or so, saying everybody was wilding the fuck out and all that. We're trying to see the movie and all that shit. So yeah, it was Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's another thing. Not to go off topic, but what was your favorite? How many movies have we seen together recently? Because we've seen like
we've seen like up to like maybe 2 or 3 at this point.
I know we've seen Spider-Man.
We've seen Batman.
And what was that third one? I think that's the only 2.
Yeah, I think that was only. Well, wasn't there another one? No. We've
seen movies in the past. We saw Ouija,
yeah,
and stuff. But yeah, which movie did you have more fun? Spider-Man,
of course.
Spider-Man,
yeah.
Even with the whole crew there.
Yeah. It was fun as hell.
Yeah.
So I was looking like, I said, yeah, Spider-Man, let's fucking go, let's get these niggas.
Well, cause see, I would say Spider-Man, but that wasn't my favorite theater, AMC, and also the ambiance. Like I had my whole crew with me to see Batman, so that's what did it for me.
Okay.
And we got discounts on every fucking thing.
Of course, you think that.
So it was just a good day all throughout.
Yeah, but no, but like to me, like, well, getting back on topic, the effects that they did for Morbius, so I thought that was freaking awesome. And then, like I said, the visuals were really good, and then also too, like you can already tell that they're gonna do a second Morbius number 2 because towards the end of the movie they left shit to where it was like, oh shit, you gotta see it because one.
Oh yeah.
And I'm looking.
Well, I heard Sony trying to get their own Sinister Six, so
that would be interesting.
Morbius.
I mean, but like I said, Morbius is an anti-hero, so it doesn't make sense for him to particularly be full villain.
But if he's with whatchamacallit, then.
But I mean, that depends on what they're doing though, because again, he's not trying to be the villain here. Like he's a guy trying to save the world, but then made one of But it could be to where it's like, okay, yeah, I do have to drink blood, but that don't mean I have to drink blood. Yes, I can just drink blood of assholes. I don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah. But what other movies did you want to talk about? What other movies do we have in store for them to talk about?
I mean, we clearly got the Doctor Strange one.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we got Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but I know that's not coming out till next month.
That's next month, but still.
But I mean, yeah, we gonna talk about that. We gonna talk about that, and we gonna try to have special guests there too.
And then I'm trying to think what other movies coming out other than that one.
No, what movies do we have for them to talk about?
That we're trying to talk about right now.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about Morbius right now.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the next videos like to talk about soon?
Oh, the next one that we're gonna talk about is the Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Well, we can't talk about that one because I haven't seen it, so how am I gonna talk about it? How am I gonna talk about a movie I haven't seen?
I'll explain it to you in the next video.
No, I ain't gonna talk about that shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that shit.
Why?
Yeah, I'm not. We went over this.
No, we have not. We literally talked about this, and then you literally came up with some bullshit, and just like.
Anyways, what other than that? I know we have Moon Knight, and what else?
That was about it.
Yeah, that was about it. So look forward to those or that.
Now look into those videos.
Yeah, but other than that, do you have any closing statements on Morbius?
Yeah, it was a good movie. I really do hope that they actually do a number 2 because they did leave some stuff there that where it's like they could do a number 2. Because again, remember when his girlfriend Sammy died, I think she took his. I don't know. I'm looking in my head like, because I was looking at her like, bitch, the fuck? Because you can tell she bit him in the middle of the kiss and something took some of his blood. And then next minute, towards the end of the movie, she wakes up changed. I'm like, oh man. Because you can tell she just like his friend. She was interested in the power because she was sitting there asking like, how does it feel? Like niggas that be asking shit like that, they want a piece of that.
Yeah, you like
yeah,
why you want it now?
Because to me, I'm thinking like you think for all the shit that I'm going through, what my friends putting me through, and all this other shit, you would not think to not want this shit. And it was funny as hell. They had some funny dialogues in that shit where she put a cup of the coffee or whatever on the thing in the sunlight and see if he was gonna like
Yeah.
He said, yeah, not that kind of vampire. He's like, he said, I had shit. I said, literally, I'm walking out in the sunset with nothing but a fucking hoodie on and shit. Like, I'm trying to cover my face, not hide from the sun.
Exactly. I think the movie could have been better. If they do a second one, I hope it is better. And I hope they do get more into the cinematic feel. And
I mean, cinematic feel to like what?
They like flesh the character out.
In terms of what?
In terms of fleshing the character out. I'm not going to go over
I mean, but I'm just, I know, that's what I'm saying.
This is the closing statements. No, you don't get questions on closing statements.
Yeah, you do because
you don't because you're closing the bitch. It's over.
But you
there's no question.
But you gotta ask in terms of the closing statement. Because you literally just asked me in the closing statement, what do you expect to see in the movie? That's a question right there, nigga.
Yeah, and you gave your closing statement.
Yeah, and then
my closing statement was, I hope they do better and flesh out the characters more.
Yeah, I know that, but again, since we talked about it and I already explained to you why, it's like, what's the point of them fleshing out even more so when they already pretty much did? It's like, what?
I'm talking about the other characters that they're going to present to them.
Well, of course, if they bring in new characters in there, they're going to have to flesh them out because we're not going to know who the fuck they are.
Well, they didn't flesh them out in this one, so.
Well, you're talking about the only people that they had in the movie or so, it was the main character, his friend, his little girlfriend and whatnot, the cop, his little bullshit friend or so that was his partner.
Do they look fleshed out to you?
Yes. You literally have 2 cops in here trying to figure out what the hell going on and shit.
Well, maybe,
we don't need backstories for the fucking side characters.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. Well, maybe it's just for kids because you like little kid shit like Sonic and shit. So,
bitch, you got no room to talk. We're talking about fucking Morbius here, nigga. What the fuck?
I'm just saying, maybe it's for, it's not for the connoisseurs of the Marvel.
You mean the bullshitters?
The connoisseurs.
Bullshitters.
The Iron Mans. And
Bullshit.
Captain Americans. You know.
Okay, come on now.
Fine.
Come on now. You know when they come down to Iron Man and Captain America, they have to literally flush the shit out when it comes to his character and everything that. Especially Iron Man, his shit involves so many people's goddamn shit that they had to flush out his goddamn character. And then Captain America, he's a goddamn warrior. They had to explain his shit thoroughly just to make sure it made some sense. Then to a person that literally injects himself with a damn serum, turned to a live vampire, so now so you want to flesh your character out for what, nigga?
Anyways, it's your boys,
Dark
Crimson D Z. Go watch Morbius out in theaters now.